Welcome back, hard forkers, to yes, 2 weeks in a row, a trading show with Baloo. Good to see you, going fella. I've been away with a big crypto crowd on a little desert island or deserted island, whatever you want to call it, whatever it's called, but sort of out of the loop a wee bit on what's been happening. Got back last night, 30K broken, back down below it now. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Baloo. What's
Yeah,
going
sure.
on with the charts?
Uh, Nothing's changed as far as my stance. I've been bullish on Bitcoin basically since 18K. With the alpha numerics indicator, basically when this wave turned green. This is a very high time frame signal that we have here. It's based on the weekly time frame. And when this is red, it's a pretty strong indicator that you're in a bearish market environment. When it turns green, you're in a very strong market condition that is bullish. Sorry, red is bearish, green is bullish. So as soon as this turned green, we've been bullish, and it's been up only. The EMAs are in bullish alignment. Every consolidation has resolved to the upside. This is a very long-term accumulation of nearly a year of accumulation, not quite a year. It's about 200. Let me just get a fresh measurement on this. 276 days of accumulation. So we've definitely been trading sideways long enough for me to think that this can even break 30K. I wouldn't be surprised the next major resistance here, once we get past all of this cluster here, which I anticipate that we will get through this, we would be looking at prices in excess of, almost 40K. 40 to, about $40,000 is the next kind of major resistance to me. Now, smaller time frames, I think on the show last time we were talking about the 4-hour consolidation and how the consolidation, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't consistent with what what you typically see in markets. It wasn't a perfect triangle. It wasn't a perfect accumulation range. It was a messy, choppy range. But there are some pretty interesting fundamental things that are happening in the market right now as a result of the collapse of FTX. People don't trust exchanges. People still want Bitcoin. They still want exposure. With the banking collapses and the banking crises that we're seeing, and how deposits can just be, well, there are no deposits. They don't exist. But, if people lose faith in the banking system, those deposits may prove to not exist. They won't have access to them anymore. People are learning and warming up to Bitcoin. So you have exchanges. All of the exchanges since FTX collapse are doing what's called transparency reports. So they're showing their holdings, they're showing and proving what it is that they have on the books is true, that the order book is true, and that the reserves are there. You have fundamental drivers of people wanting to get into Bitcoin, and you have people not trusting the exchanges and removing their coins and putting it into cold storage. So you have a supply shock on the exchange, and you have intrinsic demand in the real world. So we're seeing the result of that, and that is an uptick in price. I think that this is just the beginning of a more extended rally. I do think that the rally will probably get over exuberant at some point, and that there will be a lot of profit taking. But I think this is the point, this is the area right here where we're going to start to flip the narrative. There's still a lot of people on the sidelines. There's still a lot of people calling for, 15, 12, 10K Bitcoin. Yep. I don't think that that's going to be happening in the short term. And I think that those people who are sidelined or have been holding on to that narrative are going to flip if we start to go any higher. I think if you get to $34,000, that narrative is going to flip, and people are going to just capitulate into Bitcoin, and then you can get some pretty exuberant moves from there.
Could you give us a few numbers, Baloo? I mean, that 30K figure has obviously been banded around, extensively over the last month as a major resistance area. Obviously, we've banged up against it quite a few times. We broke through. Could you get a bit more specific on the actual prices where sort of major resistance was on order books, etc.? What actually has happened since our last show, and
Yeah.
what sort of next milestones to really be looking at are?
Well, the important thing since the last show is this consolidation that we were talking about. Let me just highlight it here. This consolidation, we have a breakout. So it's broken out of that consolidation.
Right.
When you have a breakout, it usually means that we're going to have a resolve in the direction that it came from. So we are continuing the uptrend. I think that this is the initial breakout of a continued impulse to the upside. Giving targets, the next major resistance is around anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000. And I think we're going to hit it personally. If I'm to take a guess, I don't see price action that is indicative of people selling. I see price action that is indicative of people buying, and there's still a very large vocal group of people who are calling for lower levels, who are sidelined, who are sitting on stables, waiting to deploy. I think this is a very classic kind of bull market rally where you get a lot of people in disbelief. They finally capitulate on their bearish thoughts and they join in at the top, and then the people who have been in for a while will dump on them. This is typical Bitcoin. I think we're going to continue to rally here. That's my prediction. I don't need predictions. Nothing here should be considered financial advice. You need to have your own trading strategy. There are metrics and parameters that when they flip bearish, I will be selling, and I may not be here in a timely enough manner to let people know when that is. So please don't just follow what I'm saying. You have to have your own strategy, and you have to have your own way of trading these markets. But from everything that I'm seeing, we're bullish. We're bullish, and the price action is matching it, like where the fundamentals are lining up as far as I can tell, and we're only going to continue to higher levels.
Okay. Very good. Now, starting next week as well, we're going to be looking at these different indicators. I think you could maybe go into a bit more depth about alphanumerics, why people should be signing up to your channel and learning more about that. And we're also going to be showing you some sort of auto trading strategies that I've been using for about 6 weeks now. One is a Bitcoin accumulator. The other one accumulates USDC. So we'll have a look at those two strategies. I started them at both at the same time. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you're around for our next show. We'll be looking at those. Any other charts, thoughts on ETH at this point? That's been making some nice moves.
ETH has not been making nice moves.
No?
ETH has been lagging comparative to Bitcoin. And this is actually a nice thing to talk about. It's a good topic. You're starting to hear people talking about rotations. Performance from Bitcoin has been doing well. At what point do we rotate into ETH? At what point do we rotate into altcoins? And in a bear market rally, the time to rotate is really at the last second, and you need to be highly skilled to effectively pull that off. There's like one big rally at the end of kind of a little mini blow off cycle, a little hype wave, where alts truly do outperform Bitcoin. The easiest way for you to see if it's time to rotate into something is to look at the Bitcoin comparative. If the altcoin that you're looking at is beginning to outperform Bitcoin, well, then maybe there's a rotation taking place. But when you look at these Bitcoin pairs, they all look like shit. They all look absolutely terrible. I'll pull up ETH BTC right now. It looks like a picture perfect Wyckoff distribution. This is an ugly fucking chart. This is an ugly fucking chart. Based off of this chart alone, I think that the unstake that we're going to experience in a few hours, the Shanghai hard fork that's going to allow for unstaking, may result in a little bit of volatility to the downside, or at least, you could see a price advance, but based off of this chart, I'm not going to see it outperforming Bitcoin. This is a very textbook distribution formation here. And if this plays out, you know, you're looking at 0.05 ETH per or BTC per ETH as the target range, back down to this kind of sloped lower trend line that we've been kind of maintaining since early 2020, 2021. So to me, it looks like shit. I wouldn't be too trigger happy to get into alts. And if this is your first bear market, you know, if you got in during the 2020, 2021, or 2022 hype cycles, and you've had alt season like jammed down your throat. Oh, alt season's coming next. First Bitcoin, then ETH, then alts, then this, then that. Like it's not really that simple. The most bullish part of an altcoin season is after Bitcoin breaks an all-time high. After Bitcoin breaks an all-time high, you get the largest outperformance of altcoins to BTC. Doesn't mean that you can't get nuances in between. You can see an outperformance in a bear market rally, but I would caution against going heavy. I would caution against long-term holding in alts in that kind of scenario, because based off of historical performance, you're not going to see an outperformance of Bitcoin, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. You've got a couple of other tabs at the top there. Are they charts you wanted to have a look at for the audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of more of the same thing that I just said. Litecoin not outperforming Bitcoin. It's struggling to get past this resistance at $100. There was I am in this as a short-term trade. I've been in this trade for a while. It's been very lackluster. It's been a shitty trade that's just been eating my margin. It's not outperforming Bitcoin. There was a narrative that the Litecoin halving was coming up. I don't even know if that's happened yet. I'm not paying attention to the fundamentals of that, but none of the narrative is translating into positive price action. I did like the break of this downward sloping trend line in Cardano, but Cardano has been flat, and I did take a punt on that as well. It's been a really lackluster. It's been doing nothing. My Bitcoin, I'm up 100% on the year on my fucking Bitcoin. Nothing else that I've touched has even come close to even like 30 or 40%. So Bitcoin has been the winner thus far. So having too heavy of an alt exposure has been losing you profits. Not the narrative that is popular, not what a lot of people want to hear, and not what a lot of people watch YouTube to.
I just have to give you a little jab in the ribs there, because the RON token, which I'm sure you have some after our Axie Infinity years, it's actually up 500% this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hear what you're saying. Why would you be punting on?
Here's the thing: it's popcorn season. You know, like, how are you going to call that? There's no technical indicator. There's no trading strategy that you can apply. Yeah, you're going to have random shitcoins pump. Yeah. You know, they pump and dump. They're fucking going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a trading strategy, there's no strategy that you can apply to capture that. Congrats to those who are 500% on their RON positions. I don't imagine that that's a very large percentage of your portfolio. And if it is, then we can talk about rotating into Bitcoin maybe. But yeah, it's just, you know, trying to make rhyme or reason, and being able to appropriately trade the altcoin space is very, very difficult and requires a lot of luck. It's going to be random. When you're in a true altcoin season, you're shooting fish in a barrel. Just whatever you put money at is going to go up.
Everyone's a genius.
Everybody's a genius. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, you can make money. You're far better off focusing your efforts and concentration and capital, in my opinion, towards Bitcoin right now, because we're not quite there at that point where you're going to see those significant altcoin outperformances of Bitcoin, at least from where I think we are in this market cycle. The other tab that I have up here is the Arbitrum token. This is one that I'm just paying attention to because I did have a few wallets that did get airdropped. There's a few levels to make note of here. We need to break out past $1.28. That's kind of the first technical level where we can begin to measure this as a healthy chart. As it stands right now, we are in a downtrend. That is not a healthy chart. Downtrend up against a very significant support line. If we break this support line, it's probably going to take several months, if not years, to recover from that. So as it stands right now, it looks like shit. But if we can get above $1.28, that would be kind of the first level. And then from there, we want to get to $1.45. And then the next target is going to be that $1.55 level. If we can start to see a reclaim of those levels in Arbitrum, then we have a healthy chart. But as it stands right now, this is not looking healthy. And I would we'll see. You know, it might just come out of the floor right here and then reprice, impulse to the downside and reprice it, I don't know, 40 cents or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's it. I'm not paying a ton of I'm not paying close attention to alts at the moment because I just don't think they're the play.
Yeah. I agree. They will have their day again.
Of course. They always do.
Yeah. Interestingly, obviously you're showing us ETH BTC pairs to demonstrate a point that Bitcoin has outperformed that. But the other thing you mentioned there is we've got the ETH unlock, a matter of what are we probably about 12 hours away of that. I would say.
Yeah, it's supposed to happen on the 12th, but it's the 12th here in Asia, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
It's happening. It's happening tomorrow for the people behind us, but I don't know when it's happening.
I'm
probably
sure
somewhere around 12 hours or less.
You've figured it out exactly. But overall, you don't think that's a particularly good looking chart, both short and long term, you were saying on ETH? I mean, we're up close to
long-term ETH
this year.
Long-term from kind of a volatile range here, ETH has been basically at the Bitcoin price for about 700 days. So give or take, let's see, how much volatility do we got here? Give or take 25%, Ethereum has been matching Bitcoin.
Right.
Give or take 25%. Okay. And we are now trending below that. So this is going to resolve to me, looks like it's going to resolve to the downside. I think that the ETH unlock, I think that the ETH unlock is going to result in people selling their Ethereum. This will cause a rush to safety, and that safety is going to be Bitcoin. So we're going to see an outperformance in Bitcoin. This is the trend that I see playing out in the short term. I can't really give a medium to long term call on Ethereum right now because the current formation that we're in, let me just grab my pen tool. This current distribution pattern, nope, that's not what I want. This current distribution pattern that we're in is just only now looking like it wants to resolve to the downside. So all of this data that I'm interpreting right now is the short-term data, and it's pointing towards a conclusion to the downside. So after this takes place, after this resolves at some sort of support level, there's a ton of support at 0.05. BTC per ETH. If we get consolidation from that point, then I can begin to determine that maybe we have the ability to recover from that point. But as it stands right now, the chart is telling me that in the short term, things are going to look difficult for Ethereum.
Yeah, I think there was an unlock last year, I believe, and the ETH took a short-term hit of around 30%. I think possibly a lot of this one might be priced in. I haven't really rushed to the exit to sell much ETH.
It's looking like probably, if it hits my 0.05 target, about 15 to 20% from where we are right now.
Yeah. And that could happen in the next 24 hours during this unlock.
Yeah, exactly. And it can bounce right back too.
Yeah, it actually did last time that happened as well. It was pretty short-lived. So yeah, whatever way you want to look at that, could be a good flip right now and buy it back. I don't know. Maybe something I'll be doing this afternoon. Interesting. Okay. So you're below the bull at the moment, as opposed to, as you say, a number of other traders are pulling for their significant pullbacks.
Yeah.
I'm
Everybody's calling pullbacks. Everybody's calling pullbacks. It doesn't matter what analysis I see, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Discord, whether it's on
Yeah.
Telegram. Anytime somebody posts a chart, it's in the context of here's where I'm looking to buy in. Here's the pullback I'm waiting for to buy in.
Yeah.
And I think Bitcoin is going to do a big fuck you up only until you capitulate in to a big green candle. And then it will pull back because that's what Bitcoin does.
It is indeed.
That's what Bitcoin does every single fucking time.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Anything else in closing? I've got to go and have my third shower of the day. It's Thai New Year here tomorrow, people. It's about 400 degrees. It's hot, as you can probably tell from the sweat pouring off me.
Just wait till tomorrow. You'll get plenty wet tomorrow.
Oh boy, it's a furnace here at the moment. This is the hottest time of the year, celebrated with one almighty water fight over the next 48 hours. So
are you going to Patong to celebrate?
I'm actually going to a water park.
Ah, perfect.
The one we went to, actually.
It's perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's
and Amana. Yeah.
If I'm going to get sprayed with water all day, why not be in a water park? So
exactly.
There's a bunch of the crypto crowd heading there. I'll shoot some video for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, thanks very much for that, mate. There's obviously a lot going on at the moment. So we will endeavor to jump back on if there's any big moves for you. But as I always do, I would appreciate it greatly if you get over and support Baloo's channel as well. Links are below to that. So we shall see you all again next week. Thank you very much, sir.
Always a pleasure. See you.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone. Good luck out there.